Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today's the 20th of January 2017, and we've got a little bit of a show today. We've got some domestic releases, some international releases, and some decal updates to talk about, as well as one new kit that has sort of wound its way onto the release sheets. We're talking about that real quick here first, and that would be. And normally I don't talk about round two stuff in advance, but I think this is one of those kits of significance, if you will, that deserves it, and that would be that apparently round two has found enough of, or I don't know if they've gone back and tooled new stuff. I don't have any details about what's making this kit exactly, other than the fact that it's long been assumed to have been unreissuable because of the fact that the kit itself was a basis for another kit and things have been changed. However, we have seen recently with round two, in the case of their trucks, like the Peterbilt 359 California Hauler, that just because you think it's gone doesn't necessarily mean it really isn't there anymore. Famously, the 359 tooling had always been on the backside, so to speak, of the 358 pacemaker cab over tooling, and nobody knew it. So what they're going to be doing, and this is not going to be reissued until sometime in the second half of this year. The release date right now is June. Consider that release dates for round two stuff are about as solid as water. So I would not expect it any sooner than June. We expect it to be after June some point. And that is they're going to be reissuing the Kenworth W925 Moving On kit. Now, the fans of this show from the 1970s will point out that there was no actual W925 in that show, that it's not the right truck. But beyond the tie-in to the actual TV show is the fact that the 925 has not been reissued since probably, mid to late 1980s? Because the 925 kit was converted to make that Kenworth T600 that AMT Ertl did, that had the regular T600, and then there was that Kenworth Canepa version that was done after that. And it was always assumed that because the chassis that was underneath of that T600 was wildly inaccurate, being that it was the 925's chassis, that something terrible had happened to the rest of the kit, and it could not be salvaged. So what that is, in the sense that the tooling was gated off, and they just, as they go through all the tooling and do test shots of everything that they own, they figured out, holy crap, that stuff is really still here. We can just combine it, because obviously the chassis and stuff still exists because it's what was underneath the T600, that they found all the body parts and interior and everything, or they've retooled a bunch of stuff. One of the two has happened. We don't know exactly what. We'll let you know as time goes along, as we get more information. But knowing what an expensive kit that is to obtain, due to the fact that it hasn't been around for so long, if you're a truck guy and you happen to be peeking at one on eBay and thinking, well, maybe I'll pull the trigger. Hang on. Don't pull it yet. You'll be able to get it for, the $30, $40 that AMT trucks go for now, sometime later this year. So just hang out and wait for that. That's going to be coming. And that's pretty much really all there is on kit announcements. There's a few other things that got added to the round two list, but none of it is really significant. They're getting a lot of reissues the first quarter of this year, with new tie-ins, like the 1923 Ford panel truck is coming back with Coca-Cola livery. The Ford Louisville box truck is coming back with Coca-Cola livery. Again, anybody who remembers the late 1990s or mid-1990s knows that already happened once. So, nothing was, like I said, really of significance, at least from my glancing at the list. We always keep you up to date on round two stuff month to month, because their release dates, like I said, are so fluid that we don't want to tell you something's coming out and it's not. So that takes us to the, what is going on here in the sense of decals. Now, I do have all three pictures. So, Reissues Models, which is out of the Czech Republic, has announced several decal sheets that they're going to be doing to support the BMAX M3, and they are the Wellington 1992 decals. Now, we talk AB Motorsports is doing the same set of decals, but Reissues is going to be doing their set. And then they're going to be doing two sets for rally cars, and they are the Rothman's car, sponsored for the 1989 Tour de Course, and the Hardage, BMW Hardage sponsorship for the fifth place car from the 1990 ADAC Deutschland Rally. Now, Reissues has come out and said that they will be doing a trans kit to convert it to a rally car, because the rally car has pretty much a stock ride height, where the race car, the endurance race car, is a little bit lower. And they're also going to be doing a bunch of sets of wheels and wings and spoilers and things like that. It is all going to be sold separately. None of it's going to be like boxed together. You're not going to get like the Hardage kit that comes with everything. Everything's going to be sold separately so that you can sort of pick and choose what you need rather than being stuck with a certain configuration. I know some people will probably gripe a little bit that it's going to be more expensive that way. But it really depends on what they would price the entire box set as. Would it be cheaper or wouldn't it? So it really depends. The 3 sets of Studio 27 M3 decals we talked about a couple weeks ago are out. I'm going to cover 2 of them real quick here, just because I think they're I don't know, significant. The ones I ordered, so this saves me doing a what did I get kind of video on them later. But they are kind of significant in the sense that, at least for one of these, the two-tone, you have to do the two-tone on both of these sets of decals, and it seemed like one of them would be, decals. So first up is that Listerine British Touring Car Championship. BMW. You can understand why this is a two-tone. You have to paint yourself. If you really start looking at it, you'd have huge swaths of either black or blue to try to knit together into the car, and that just wouldn't end up probably looking very good. Here's the actual decal sheet itself. And then you have the Labatt's British Touring Car Championship car, and this is the one I'm not so sure I agree with the idea of it being two-tone. You're noticing it says paint white, paint blue. That's because, as you take a look at the actual decals here, that white stripe that goes down the side and sort of wraps the taillight panel isn't included. So people were saying it's lazy. People were saying, this, that, and the other thing. Some Studio 27 decals, have been known to not fit. Anybody who's followed the BMW Z4 that I was doing knows how that works. Although that was probably more my fault than theirs. And, it's just odd that they didn't make the entire side stripe itself. You could have made it in like 2 or 3 pieces to piece it together over the doors and things like that. It is going over the door handles, and I understand that, but it's just odd to see this type of thing be a two-tone with them. Usually the white would have been provided, along with everything else. So, the price on it is a little bit, less than the Listerine one is, as far as what the actual retail is, but it's not that much different. So anyway, if you're looking at those, because I know a couple friends were like, "Oh, look, Labatt's, it's a Canadian tie-in," know that you got to paint the whole two-tone on that. You're not getting decals. Got a thank you message from Zoom on this week, because they sold all 100 of their Honda Accord resin multimedia kits. So good on you guys for supporting that. Be interested to see what their next project will be. Now on to kit releases this week, and we have, like I said, some stuff out of the United States, some stuff out of Japan. The U.S. stuff would be that the AMT 1949 Ford Gasman Coupe is out. This is, of course, the reissue of the 49 Ford, done in its sort of, was a silent box art. That's why there's no words on this. But done in its box art akin to the 1960s. It has its trophy base restored. You get 2 sets of pad-printed drag slicks in this, as well as a couple sets of street tires, I should say, as well. It's a 3-in-1 stock custom gasser. Not a lot there as far as being new. And you're like, oh, look, I've never seen this before, because, if you've seen a 49 Ford, you've seen them all. As far as the kit goes, new decals, the fancy box art, and you know what you're sort of getting into there, but it's something that hasn't been in the catalog for a few years, so why not reissue it, I guess. And then the other kit that has been reissued, because it really is a reissue at this point, from AMT is this. This is the pre-painted version of the 2016 Camaro SS. This is the full detail kit. That's right, round 2 is not shucking you the way Revell does by making like a 40-part kit and painting only the body. This entire kit is painted from obviously you get like the window box of seeing the outside of the kit, but all of the rest of the kit is there, all 28 parts of the suspension and 20 some odd parts of the engine and everything. It's already all painted for you. Of course, you'll have sprue attachment points to clean up. You got to figure the body has been painted over its mold lines and things like that. It's a quick weekend shelf model, where you're not really that just wow into it. Probably 6 8 hours or so if you take your time, because it's not, with 28 pieces to a rear suspension, it's not something you're going to throw together real quick. But it's like I said, it's a shelf model. You're not gonna enter it in a contest because it would get thrown out, because all you did was glue it together. You didn't actually build it in the traditional sense. But like I said, for maybe if you have a younger kid who's starting to get into glue models, this is an option. The way the Revell pre-paints are, because the Revell pre-paints they only paint the body, not the rest of it. This one, you can certainly focus a great deal more on teaching building fundamentals as far as just assembly and things like that, without having to worry about painting anything. So. Um, I think that is it, United States wise. We expect probably this coming week we'll get some more round two stuff, and then we'll get the Revell issues as well. I was in the local hobby shop, and none of the stuff had come in yet. So, unless it's being sold on eBay this weekend, as of right now, none of that stuff is out. Not that there's really anything there to talk about anyway. But you might be interested in that Anglia gasser. So, I don't want to dismiss everything out of hand. Over in Japan, we got the reissues of several kits from Aoshima, and some of them are a little more interesting than others, I guess, in the terms of when the last time you could buy it is. You got a reissue of the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR. This is a 1971 spec, according to Aoshima. It is one of the old best car vintage kits. It does have a randomly bad chassis. It is, however, probably the only Skyline of this generation, I should say, that has posable wheels. This kit, because it's does so much with Liberty Walk and other custom kits that have been done in the past, does come with articulating suspension points, so that you, even in its it's just a factory stock kit as far as what the contents are. If you wanted to put bigger wheels and tires onto it, or smaller wheels and tires, depending on how you look at it, and camber it and everything like that, this kit provides all of that up front without having to do any modifications to the suspension necessarily. Another kit that's reissued is the 2010 Subaru Impreza WRX STI. I'm not necessarily sure this one was something that was actually hard to find. I think you could probably still pick it up pretty much anywhere from this last reissue, but this is obviously reboxed into that whole The Model Car series. So it'll be something that's permanent, quote unquote, in the catalog from here on out. And if you wanted to pick up one of those USCB trans kits to make the sedan, this is the base kit you need for that. Reissue of the Nissan Laurel Medalist Club L. You can also build this as a Club S if it really matters to you in the trim department. This kit does come with a engine insert, as it always has. Again, something that's being boxed into the Model Car series. And then lastly, and this is a kit that hasn't been reissued for a while, it might be 10 plus years since it was reissued last, and that is the Mitsubishi Delica Star Wagon, or as people like to call the Delicious Star Wagon. This is sort of the earlier version of the Mitsubishi's van. They also had the the Space Gear, the more rounded 2000s van that they reissued a year and a half, 2 years ago now. This comes with a lot of extra parts, in the sense of like that front wrap around the push bar, and all of the little like step ladder stuff on the sides. And it comes with a roof rack that they're not showing on the box. Pretty much everything that has been in these kits over the years. There were like S parts versions of it and the RV versions of it and stuff like that. There's 2 sets of wheels included. So you do get a little bit of value for the box if you're interested in that sort of genre of cab over Japanese vans. And then lastly, the last kit that we'll talk about this week, and this is brand new tooling, is the Ebro Team Lotus Type 91 from the 1982 British Grand Prix. So they did all of those, prototype but never ran Lotus types from last year. This is the actual car that really did actually make it onto the racetrack and ran in the 1982 series. Not a lot of tooling here was shared with the other ones, because they're prototypes and they're not the actual race car. So it is more new tooling than not. And I really don't have much else to say about that, because I'm not the F1 expert, especially from the 1980s. But it is for the people that are interested in that type of thing. Very cool to have out finally. It's been probably delayed for 6 or 8 months now, but finally has made it out. You do get a little bit of carbon fiber with the decals that Ebro gives you for making the actual cockpit area. It'll be all carbon fiber for you, basically. But I'm sure the Studio 27 and others will come along, as we speak, so to speak, making complete photo etch, or not photo etch, but carbon fiber sets. I'm sure somebody's going to do photo etch for it as well, whether it be Studio 27 or somebody. But that's what we got this week. So next week we should have again. There's some Fujimi stuff that hasn't come out. A couple of Hasegawa kits that haven't come out. There's a handful of Aoshima stuff that hasn't come out, and of course the remaining domestic stuff from Round 2 and Revell. So pretty much everything is on schedule. I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or not, but they're because I can't remember if it came out before I did the video or not, but there now is officially box art for the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, so that will be coming out this month or the very beginning of February at the latest. And then we also got some built-up test shots, or actually not the built-up test shots, the built-up production shots. And these are the things they're going to be taking to the Nuremberg Toy Fair at the very beginning of the month here, because that is actually coming up a lot faster than I thought it was. I thought it was in the middle of February, but it's actually the first weekend of February of the 2016 Toyota 86, as well as the Brian James trailer. So they're, like I said, built shots, decals, everything like that. I didn't include them because you've seen one set of test shots for that. You've seen them all. And I'll do the production shots later. Plus, they're going to come out in February anyway, so it's not that we're really waiting on something long term there. That's going to be right around the corner. And like I said, Nuremberg Toy Fair coming in about a week and a half, 2 weeks now, so that'll be fun to see what else is going to be popping out of Europe. Let's see if Heller's going to be there with anything, like the Estafette van. ICM has a few 124 scale things, some figures, and another version of their Model T that they're going to announce there for officially, because some vendor things have things listed, but they haven't officially announced them yet. And guys, I guess that's about it. So I hope you have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys all the time.